Ooh, they added a keyword. Hello and welcome to this video. We're going to talk about a 0.1.1 patch. In about 2 weeks after it, where has it got us? Has it gotten us anywhere, or was it just a sort of a token gift to say, we're listening, blah blah blah. Now, you would have seen all the yes men going, oh, it's awesome, oh my goodness, they're just the best company ever on earth. Yeah, they get paid to do that. Unless the entire public is actually against certain things, just go look at Necropolis and stuff. The yes men were for it, and then the people in general, in a mass general, were against it because of certain things, and then they changed it. And they changed their opinion accordingly. So, what did 0.1.1 patch actually give us? A little bit more exalts, which is an endorphin kick. So that's, oh yeah, that dies very quickly because then the currency exchange trade, all that gets skewed way disproportionate. And if you weren't already earning exalts and stuff, you are now way behind the curve. The other thing, it started to lean towards that you're going to get multiple chances at bosses and stuff, but we're going to make it harder for you to actually beat the boss. That was actually introduced really to, because they couldn't think of a way to allow you back in the map if you were beating the boss but died to get your gear. Now, if you die as you defeat the boss, you can get your gear. Obviously, unless you do it on the last portal, which then it's just bad luck. But it was brought in because they couldn't figure out a way to actually make it so you could go in, but only under the guise that you are beating the boss. But if you're beating the boss, do you become immune? It was complicated. And they probably figured that some people might actually be able to exploit that, so they become immune prematurely or whatever, because obviously they need to think about how are people going to actually cheat with anything they put in the game. There's billions of ways to cheat and probably only 100 odd different ways to actually stop it. Now, the overall, what did it add? I would argue that the patch that added the reduced gold cost for respecking gave you more out of a patch or an update or a fix or a hot fix or whatever than this massive, oh my goodness, patch. It pretty much was trash as a patch. It didn't fix any issues. It didn't fix one or two, okay? But overall, they refused to fix anything that would change the meta, change the hierarchy, change the economy, change the position of the upper tier, because they didn't want to do that without a full wipe. For whatever reason, they've destroyed gems, they've destroyed characters and stuff previously, and they didn't wipe it. So that argument's just rubbish. It's because 90% of people playing the actual builds would have got upset, and then they would have had to deal with a bad PR thing. That's why they didn't actually reset. Well, they didn't change the gems without a reset because too many people would have got cranky at them, because they have destroyed builds, skills, all that, when it has been unintentionally strong, unbalanced, breaking game, all that. They previously have said anything that is unbalanced or is seemingly forcing people to become the norm will be handled straight away. Anything that's seen as just a general balance fix, bad builds become good builds become slightly worse to even them out, and you're still going to have the good S pluses and then the Ds, but as long as that's within range, they're fine. They didn't do that in this patch. They deliberately did not do that. So, lying again. Another essence of them not lying, but misleading, or the actual top tier yes men not actually pointing out the fact that something should have been in there, is the maps. The boss maps. The boss maps are now 1 to 4. Yeah, on launch they were meant to be 1 to 4, except we weren't told that 1 to 4 maps will contain a boss. That 1 to 4 maps that contain a boss also must be a boss spawnable map, and those maps aren't always available, depending on biome, depending on level, blah blah blah. So technically, all they did was fix their error in releasing the 1 to 4 boss ratio, but they didn't actually release it 1 to 4. They released it 1 to 4 maps which that can spawn a boss will spawn a boss, but the maps that can spawn a boss isn't 1 to 4, because of all the maps there's very little that can actually spawn a boss. So depending on what biome you're running, you can't actually get a boss. Yeah, it was their mistake, their muck up, and it was meant to be 1 to 4. They didn't actually, for some reason, figure out that if they banned bosses from a certain biome and that player was in a biome and that biome just happened to generate at a larger proportion, they wouldn't get a boss. Yeah, someone should get a slap for that, because that's kiddie stuff. That's pen and paper. When you're writing stuff down, you should have figured it out before you implemented stuff on the computer even. So the skill changes, as I said, so what? Most of it whatever. The extra endorphin hits, that's just to keep you happy. Monster changes, they just fix some of the random one-shots, which, yes, that's all good. Not getting one-shot, not getting off-mapped, which they shouldn't have even been able to do. They've done this in PoE 1. Where, oh, wait, this player is here, that monster's off screen, but he's aggroed. We'll make sure his aggro is not big enough to actually get the player. They somehow forgot that that was the principle in PoE 2. The one thing I'd like them to change is actually the rubbish scenic block that you get. You're just looking at a wall, and you can't do anything about it because you can't change the camera angle, and you literally just, this is the wall, you can't see me properly, I can't see you properly, and yeah, I'm trying to take out creatures in front of me, and I'm just spamming all my skills because I have no idea what is in front of me unless I look at the bar up top. And if I'm not hitting them, like clicking on them, obviously I won't see the bar, and I can't move, oh, I'm dying, why am I dying? Because some trash monster is on the ground that I can't see. When transitioning between it happens all through the campaign, it happens all through mapping. The open plain ones, the trees get in the way, the grass is in your face too much. Like, there's some real big visual issues that they said they weren't going to actually do, and everything in PoE 1. So some of the things that is wrong with PoE 2, it just means that they were intended in PoE 1. They changed it because people got upset with them. Like the maps. Now, if you remember back before, I think it was the Siege of Atlas, which was a league that changed the Atlas and changed how we perceive PoE as it is. Before that, you had pretty much like a board game sort of style game where you had sections of your atlas, which, let's call it a general world map, because it was more like that, a general world map. You take over this section, you then empower this section, boom, up as high as you can. You're now taking out level 84, 85, whatever it was. Your bosses are now uber bosses. Yeah, like you're boosting everything in that region. This region, nothing. This region, nothing. So you got to individually boost these regions. They brought that back in PoE 2 in the Last Epoch Echo sort of thing, and then the Atlas being segregated like a Skyrim sort of skill trees, except you got to defeat the boss to get a skill point, or boss. Yeah, pretty much you got to beat a boss to get off that middle one, delirium, ritual, whatever, which I think they should change. It's just my opinion that's not going to work long term. I don't think. I think it will end up changing. I don't know what to, but I think getting your fingers in those areas will either become easier or they'll change the actual way you get the points. Because that I think is just one of those things that we'll live with and we'll get to it over the course of the early access and launch, and maybe even a couple of years after launch. Like, we'll get to a point where it's like, yeah, we're good with this. But yeah, so 95% of the 0.1.1 patch is all hype, and yes men going, yay, pathofexile, pay me, because look how many people got podcasts and streams and uploaded streams and this, that, the other thing from it. You'll see that a lot of them get paid for actually being yes men, and the others got mouthpieces for that. So let me know what you think about the patch, whether it changed your life forever in Path of Exile 2, or it was it's nice. I prefer more exalts over no more exalts. I prefer not getting one-shotted over getting one-shotted. Or is it the, oh my goodness, it's the best patch ever? Let me know. Goodbye. Ooh, they added a keyword.